strong early heroes, which is the Zas and the Barats.
Zask and the Barats, right. With the Barats going over to the EXP, we can definitely expect the amazing flicker plus deadness welcome combination that we see Sanford always doing. So they're also not really doing too much when it comes down to putting the Edith in the EXP this time. So it's a little bit of breath of fresh air for Sanford, because it feels as though Sanford has been playing a lot of Edith nowadays. So hopefully this is going to change things up a little bit for Geek fam, as they are putting themselves into a relatively hard match. I mean, pretty good draft so far. Main thing is, Fatty, would that work against Team Liquid PH? The duel of the assassins. Will darkness really be dawning upon Team Liquid PH thanks to Geek Fam ID? We'll find out in this game number 2.
Well, we are going to jump straight in right now. Kautizi starting in on the orange buff, and also Vincent starting things off on the purple buff for him on this Fanny. But immediately, as we say that, we are going to be jumping in towards the pass here, because right now, I'm curious to see how TLPH handles against this, because not too often we get to see the Fanny up on Vincent White Geek.
Pause. We are gonna have a little bit of fun, but it looks like we are gonna head straight into the Land of Dawn for game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, between Team Liquid and Geek Fam.
All right. Yeah, we are going to be seeing a pretty smooth run so far coming from TLPH. We do see Kautizi, trying to make work onto his level 4 very, very quickly. We do see JP also ensuring that he has the bestest of time, whereas Vincent has not made any kind of moves yet. So I'm guessing once he gets his control, this is where you start to see Vincent get a little bit more active.
Again, I want to circle back to the emblem choices, right? Benny QT on the Brody. By the way, we don't see Brody too often anymore in this meta, and the fact that he went Warcry alongside with Carl TZ, and if you take a look at the sub-emblems, there was also Thrill. So that's a lot of additional physical attack and physical damage that they're looking for in the early portion of the game. So again, it really correlates to the fact that Team Liquid want to be able to bag this as early as possible.
Yeah, and now Vincent just got his level 4. He's looking to try and set up a gank down middle, but again, Turtle's going to be spawning in 15 seconds here. He has to make a choice. Force a fight right now, or does he go for the purple buff and then try and secure for the turtle here? But nope, his purple buff just worn out, so that means no gank attempt is provided here. You can even see TLPH, they're all just so far back defensively that they don't really want to give them the additional XP, whereas Kautizi says, I don't care the buff, I'm going to start the turtle buff right from the get-go.
Yeah, looks like he's going straight forward, but Beloyski's there and charging.
Oh, they are going to try and make an attempt as well. Vincent going in for the steal, and yes, he gets it right at the time as well. Beloyski looking for the play. Frigiforce comes in, TLPH, they lose Kautizi right from the get-go, and now another one will fall, and that is going to be Beloyski himself.
Yeah, that's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Geek, however, as Vincent was still able to grab that turtle away without his purple buff. So that does give Geek Fam a little bit of leeway to play with. But what's very interesting is the fact that Team Liquid, they're not too far behind on gold. The question is, why?
Well, that's the thing, right? It comes down to how safe they kind of want to play this game here, but I still feel like Geek Fam was able to scout out this by Beloyski was a good call. Sacrificing himself for a jungle kill, that kind of helps Vincent a little bit more here, because right now he is a level ahead compared to Kautizi.
Oh, that's a great change. That's definitely a great change. He should have a little bit more say when it comes down to those neutral objective takes as well. So this is definitely Geek Fam starting on the right foot. Right now, we also do see that, wait a second, Beloyski's charging. Is he going to go for it?
Oh no, JP is going to flicker out as well. Vincent waited for the Earth Shatter and tries to make another attempt. Unfortunately, does not get the kill. TLPH a little bit quick here to play it safe. They respect the power of what Vincent brings to the table.
For sure, he doesn't want to overextend as well from the side of Vincent, right? He knows that he's going against a Brody. Brody does still have a little bit to work with, but wait a second.
As soon as I say this, they are going to try and make an attempt with Beloyski. He's going to try to get out as well. The dominant descent comes in. They are going to do a little bit of damage here. Frigiforce comes in as well, and Goss rejoins the fight, but TLPH, they need to get JP out, and seems like he won't be able to do so. The dominant descent is able to bait out some reaction. He dies to the burst, but at the same time, someone gets gobbled up, and that is going to be one of the players coming in from Geek Fam, and that's gonna be our boy who gets gobbled up. And they do trade pretty even here. They lose Sanji, and look at this, Sanford, he still wants to continue his fight, and they are able to get a double kill because of it. Kadera finally joins the fight, but the damage has been done from both sides here. Both just face a very, very equal bloodbath.
Yeah, 2-4-3 trade in favor of Team Liquid PH, however. So Geek Fam are falling a little bit behind with these trades. It looks like Carl TZ is still going to commit onto that Sky Piercer, despite him not having as best of an early game performance. And I'm not saying that because he's not playing properly, but I'm used to seeing Carl TZ on these assassins and just completely snowballing. But that also tells us that Geek Fam are putting up a fight. So now both of these teams are going to be centering around the next neutral objective with that turtle. Carl TZ level 8. We do see that Vincent is also at the same level. So it's a 50-50. It really depends on how both of these teams want to try and implement and execute the way that they start this off. Beloyski already charging. Is he going to look for a proper moment?
Oh, Beloyski gets the Tyrant's Rage off as well, even with the final slash to secure JP's life. Dominance Descent comes in. Everyone for Geek Fam is getting out of there as well. Beloyski forces a conceal play. TLPH, they want to engage this, but look at this, Goff. He goes to the back lines. He wants to try and threaten Kaldizi, but they force the rest of TLPH to try and stop him in his track. Our boy will be caught off by Benny QT with the flicker play, and also Gobbs falling down to the OK Shadow kill.
Oh, Vincent looks like he's going to actually pick up a trade there in the bottom side of the map, which will help them in terms of that macro. But we are going to head over to a short pause, ladies and gentlemen. But this does give us a little bit of time to really
revolve around. And for TLPH, it's always been Kaltizi. And for Geek Fam, it's always been Kadera. But without further ado, enough stats now. We're going to be jumping into the game. Bye, Abstract. Thank you so much for your insights. As we jump straight back into the game here to see how things are unfolding. Because as of now, Geek Fam actually, 50-50 with TLPH, even though it's 88% gold.
Right now, we do see that TLPH are looking to try and find an opening into the enemy jungle. They don't really find that setup just yet, but they are eyeing for it, right? They're looking for a way to try and shut down Vincent. They see that it's not something that they really want to commit over to. They don't want to make any mistakes at this portion of the game, as only 6 minutes have elapsed. So they're going to focus on the objectives, right? They're going to focus on this tower in the top side. JP opening up the vision, also opening up space for Benny Cutie, but Beloyski opens up, doesn't really find anything either.
Yeah, I like how Beloyski is taking the fact that he is looking to try and jump in for the fights. Even if he misses here, he does have a little bit of a mini stun on the Little Johnny, and then, buys him a little bit of time to reset instead of allowing Little Johnny to do so much damage here. You like that, don't you, Little Johnny? But that's all for now, because right now we see a fight. JP immediately gets taken out here as Geek Fam now is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. We do Sanford immediately. O's going to be going forward as well. Vincent able to find one. Kaldizi able to trade one for his teammates, but they lose 3 members in the process. This extended fight coming from TLPH is not helping them at all. Geek Fam was able to find one more. Benny QT left alone, 1v3. Does he want to go here? I don't think he should, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's capable of it either. Right? He only has the BOD up until this point. He doesn't have the Heptases or any other items that can help elevate his damage, so he is waiting on. But that was a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Geek Fam as they're pushing the tempo, picking up the space, but look at JP.
Oh, JP looking to try and start the fight as well. Final slash stops Benny QT, but he's getting died on pretty bad here. But the Taunapod memories is going to be good enough to take Beloyski. Meanwhile, they will sacrifice JP's life in the process.
Was that a complete reset on the turtle as well? Both of these teams can't do it. They were able to kind of bait Geek Fam to reset it, and both of them don't get it, but it looks like Team Liquid now have the better setup. They're gonna force Aurora or a boy here to go in for the retrade, and that looks like it's a free turtle over to Team Liquid. Well, it was initially a good game for Geek Fam,
right?
And they turned it completely around based on macro.
That's why you have to give credit towards TLPH. They were able to buy enough time for the rest of the members to respawn back, rejoin that fight, and actually take away the objective. And because of this, TLPH is able to equalize the loss that they had just now. Exactly. You can never count TLPH out. They are able to outdo this with their minds, with their brains, with the intelligence that they have in the game. Concealed play, though, going to be poked up. Oh boy, here he comes. They are going to try and dive onto Sanford as well. Sanji is able to get out to safety, but JP now in a little bit of trouble here. Primal Wrath is not going to give him a life there as Vincent gets another kill. Sanji trying to set up for the team here. Kaotizi joins the fight, but the Daytona's welcome will pull one. The Frigid Frost comes in. They will be able to shut him down, but Sanford needs to make a run for it, and Gobs is going to try and finish him off, and they do find 4 men out. Maloyski somehow survives. Benny Cutie! Benny Cutie is able to get almost everyone, but our boy is able to stop him in his tracks.
And that's a wiped out, ladies and gentlemen, for Geek Fam. Despite that play coming in through from Benny QT, Geek Fam still reign up top. A boy trying to force in that tower in the mid side, but they don't even get it. Team Liquid PH, they were still able to take control, was still able to clear out the waves to prevent that from happening. But either or, right? Geek Fam, pick up that 800k, not 800k just yet, but 800 gold lead. 800k would have been so big. 800 gold lead, and they're still holding control. Still a very 50-50 game we're watching.
Oh boy, this is kind of crazy here considering the amount of fights that has been happening here. It felt like TLPH had a little bit small victories here, but Geek Fam was able to catch them in the most awkward situation, and just like that, TLPH, they kind of fumbled a little bit here. They needed a play coming from Benny QT, but it just didn't really work out here, and Geek Fam just has so much things to worry about. And to be honest, you have to give props to Gobs, man. Like, he's been setting up so well on this Arlet.
I'm happy for that, right? I'm happy, right? A lot of people are questioning whether or not Gobs has fit into the lineup properly as Luke had before, but wait a second.
Oh no, Sanji needs to purify out of there as well. He doesn't want to use the Dominance Descent to try and extend the fight. They are in a very awkward position. Now, reset comes in for Sanji. Meanwhile, Geek Fam, what do they do with this reset? Because Vincent looking to try and set up a fight. They find JP once more. Frigid Force comes in, but Vincent will be the finisher. Killing spree for Vincent.
Beloyski has been popping off on this Kufra, by the way, right? Sure, he had to force that resource use with the ult and so on and so forth, but the fact that they were able to bait out a lot of things. Oh, wait a second. Gobs again.
Oh no, they missed the spell here. Sanji was able to pump the descent here, going to the back line. JP is going to fall, but our boy is actually the first one to fall thanks to Kao TC, and Teal PH is going to try and continue with this fight. Look at Sanji, free shots after free shots, but Beloyski from behind, he catches Sanji from behind the Dominance Descent, sacrificing his life to take a mage. What a catch in the midst of chaos, Beloyski. What a catch!
Yeah, and that really forces both of these teams to kind of look for a reset, but TLPH, they don't want to give up anything, right? They don't want to waste time. They're focusing on these objectives, and they're going to be able to take this first Lord, as Vincent's still going to be able to pick up his purple buff. What did I tell you about Vincent on the Fanny, right? 515 so far, has been able to bait a lot of resources out, doesn't necessarily have to deal the execution, because that's when Chidera usually comes in, and right now, Chidera, if we take a look at his items, he's on his way to that Holy Crystal, supposedly, right? Already with the Starlim Scythe, he has the Feather of Heaven as well. Meanwhile, technically, Brody should already be dishing out the damage. I think maybe that power spike came too late.
It's crazy, right? To see watch this game. Jabs after jabs, blows after blows. Look at this. Geek Fam, they're going to start a fight once more. They almost caught Sanji. He's going to be using Dominance Descent to keep himself alive. But again, Beloyski trying to keep them all at bay while the rest of Geek Fam clears off the Lord. But no, they're going to ignore the Lord and try to commit to the fight. And they lose one instead. Kautizi actually finds Beloyski, and they were able to lose the tier 2. Lord cleared. Successfully defend, only losing one member, but it's not over yet. TLPH, they still have the health, they still have Sanford, they still have Benny QT, still rather strong. This tier 3, can they defend? Yes, they can, and it will still stand for Geek Fam.
That was nearly a big problem for Geek Fam, honestly, right? Because Benny QT, other than the BOD that he already also has the Malefic Roar, so he's dishing out that damage even on the turrets as well, and that was nearly a big problem. I mean, luckily Geek Fam, they were still able to come back from this, and yes, okay, now Chidera has Holy Crystal. So these team fights are going to get a lot more interesting. That damage from Chidera is definitely ramping up. And the fact that Vincent has been so great weaving in and weaving out of these team fights, baiting in these resources, dealing that initial damage for Chidera to ultimately take. It might be different this time.
Oh, JP now with the Earth Shadow is going to buy a little bit more time. They are going to try to commit to this fight. They lose Chidera right from the get-go. That's huge for them as well. Dominus Descent is able to find one more. Sanford finds Maloyski. And Geek Fam, they made a mistake. They crumbled too hard. They thought they were able to turn the tides, but it is TLPH that catches them with their pants down now with Vincent trying to buy a little bit more time, trying to clear the minions, but they just could not do so. This tier 3 is guaranteed to fall, and TLPH is marching in. Vincent, what can you do right now? They need so much more.
2 members in the face of 5 TLPH members. But it looks like TLPH this time around, they don't want to overcommit. They don't want to overtake and overstay their welcome. They're going to stay disciplined and they're going to retreat. This does give Geek Fam a little bit more time to come back and reset from everything that has happened. And it looks like Vincent is going to be able to get a trade down bottom. He's pushing in that bottom side, hoping to get that turret. But TLPH, they should see this. Or it could be utilized as a bait as they're both going to be setting up for that Lord.
Well, it seems to me Caldeezy, he is in prime position to actually kind of stop Vincent. But now my question is, who's going to win this? Because now Vincent is going to try and make an attempt. Caldeezy sidesteps his way through, but he's down towards 1 HP. The turret is doing a lot of damage here. Okay, Shenuka, we can see it. And Caldeezy outplays Vincent. Fanny versus Hayabusa. Who wins? It's the Hayabusa, baby.
It's Carl Teasy. It's the GOAT. It is his veterancy as well as his experience against Vincent. And that was a beautiful display of skill and mechanic. So well accustomed, so cold-headed, level-headed to make that play happen. And that is going to be a free Lord for TLPH in the 14th minute of the game.
Oh my goodness, Caldeezy's got so cold, man. He's got ice in his veins, even with 1 HP. He did not panic. He baited him out. He just completely shut Vincent out. What an outplay. What a player.
Absolutely. And of course, there's a pause because we need to digest what happened. How is that possible? How did he... Caldeezy was barely at 1 HP. Vincent came in a little bit too aggressively under turret. And he lost that 1v1.
You know what? That's why you need Sky Piercer. You know, think about this. Think about this. Every single game thus far, yesterday and today, no one has opted to go for Sky Piercer except for this game. Now, we've got 2 Sky Piercers, one on Caldeezy, one on Benny QT. I had this discussion with Gideon off the site. He said that, no, it's a little bit inconsistent just because it's so hard to build up to the stack.
Those plays, but you know what? Let's just completely ignore that because Caldeezy, bro.
Oh boy, we are going to be jumping back into game once more here. We had a little bit of hype moment between Vincent and Caldeezy, but let's see whether or not if Geek Fam still holds on for game number 3, because game 2 seems like with the Lord crashing in, Geek Fam is going to have a lot of troubles.
Oh, wait a second. Vincent, what is he doing there in the backside? He does put some damage over onto the Zaz, but we'll see what happens as, look at this, it looks like they're going to be able to clear.
Oh no, Sanji's a little bit far off as well. He doesn't have the help. They don't really want to take the risk here. They are going to give the Lord away to Geek Fam to kind of defend against this. So Geek Fam, they are able to hold on even longer now.
Yeah, they're not committing. Just off of Vincent's play.
Wow.
Right? Vincent went into the backline, dealt damage on it to Sanji. He didn't want to take the risk. He went in for a recall. And it seems like the call that they made at that point with 1 member down as compared to Geek Fam at full 5 was, you know what, let's just go back, reset, let's deal some damage, a little bit of damage onto the turrets, but let's not overcommit for this one.
Oh boy. Now, TLPH is slowly hitting their late power spike, right? We talk about Barat as well as Zaz. Pretty weak in the later stage game here, and Geek Fam, they do have the tools to deal with this here. And look at this, Little Johnny just barely melted in a couple of skills right there by Geek Fam. And now here with Daytona's welcome, you know, save Sanford holding it in. He is going to cancel it away, and Geek Fam just playing the macro game a little bit smarter right now.
Yeah, let's talk about the way that things have been panning out over the past few seconds, right? In these long-drawn exchanges between Geek and Team Liquid, with the fact that Geek Fam has a lot more, I would say, range with the Aurora, a lot more poke with Aurora as well, it looks like Team Liquid aren't in a position to be able to do this. right? A lot of the members from Team Liquid PH will get really low and then they have to go for a full reset. So they can't properly set up for these team fights as we usually see when Team Liquid go for a very quick decision.
Yeah, and that's the thing about understanding their power spikes and their timings, right? Like TLPH is finally reached a power spike where they're supposed to be very, very weak, much weaker in the later stage of the game, and they're trying to capitalize on mistakes that GeekFam will make. And so far, not gonna lie, GeekFam has made some mistakes, and I think TLPH is banging on the fact that GeekFam will make those kind of mistakes once more.
Yeah, they're looking for it at this point, right? Because now, as we enter the 18th minute of the game, these death timers are going to increase quite a bit. And so these Lord dances are going to be very important. And
So this is eventually going to help us work with what we've got. But, you know, I'm gonna dip out and say bye because now is the time for them to act.
thank you so much, Abstract, as we get straight back into the game. 17 minutes, almost 18 have elapsed, and both teams are going to do the infamous Lord push. Wait, is that Thunderbelt on Betty QT, by the way? Thunderbelt Brody?
Yeah, it is Thunderbelt on him. But at the same time, Sanji just died out of nowhere. And now TLPH, they are going to be forcing a fight as well. Okay, Shadow Kill comes in, but it's not going to be enough here. Vincent looking to try to finish off the members coming in from TLPH. In one fell swoop, JP is going to be the POI here. He's trying to go for Earth Shatter, trying to back out of this fight, but he won't be able to get out. GeekFam, can they finish him off? Yes, they can. They find JP on the sides. Meanwhile, Sanford is going to run the other direction here. He's down on pretty low, but he is going to die here with double kill for Kadera. And now he gets another one. And in less than 10 seconds, GeekFam able to almost get a full wipeout on TLPH.
What happened?
No idea. Sanji.
What?
Sanji was the first to die.
GeekFam completely turned tables, ladies and gentlemen, in minute number 19. 4 members taken down with the price of 1. And now GeekFam with that space, with that momentum, they are going to be able to get this neutral objective take uncontested. And this is the Lord, an enhanced Lord at that? Is this a evolved Lord at this point?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
going to be pushing in favor of GeekFam. Team Liquid completely let go of the reins in game number 2.
It is going to be huge here coming from GeekFam. This is what they exactly need to kind of push out the lanes, because so far TLPH, they have been dominating every single thing, and now we finally get a first glimpse of the items here.
It looks like that the Brody actually did go for Thunderbelt. I think he recognizes the fact that he is so vulnerable against the damage coming through from the side of GeekFam, whether it be from Vincent or from Chidera. He haven't actually built in an Athena shield, so there's a lot of respect coming through, but that is in sacrifice of his damage. So do not expect these crazy plays coming in from Benny QT. The damage is not quite there. Perhaps they're banking on the fact of Carl TZ and Sanji. Maybe that's where the damage is coming from.
Well, he sold his shoes for the Athena shield, so I guess it's just, boy, you know, going to be very, very aggressive, but he needs to be a little bit careful here. Kaldizi tries to get a little bit sneaky here. Can he get the 1v1 against Vincent? But there are minions here, and Vincent doesn't have the purple buff, but looks like he's going to try to make an attempt now. Here he comes. Okay, Shadow Q comes in, and he gets the kill! Sky Piercer wins the game. Vincent first to fall for TLPH, and now GeekFam has no choice. Do they want to push this Lord here? But it seems like they won't be satisfied with just tier 3 down bottom.
You know, the saying goes like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yeah, shame on you, Vincent, for thinking for the second time that you can outplay the GOAT. Wow.
And wait, what? Huh? Sanford? Win the crown? Okay.
I mean, he saw a boy, maybe?
No, he saw
trigger?
Beloyski, you know, coming in. He thought he was going to hit him, but Beloyski was actually out of range to hit him.
I mean, technically, Beloyski's at 2-7-12 has the flicker as well, so he's been able to find a lot of moments. They're just respecting that, but it is a good resource wasted for sure.
Yep. But TLPH now going to be a continued aggression here. Vincent is going to be back in 5 seconds. So they are going to deny the purple buff away from Vincent once more as they continue to find the mistakes, I guess.
Carl TZ gonna look for that play, and it goes back to that reset, right? The reset that we know and love. I think the fact is, when we get to the point where they go in for these objective takes again, as they group in 5v5, they have to be careful of 2 things, especially against GeekFam, right? One, Vincent is going to be able to utilize that far lane, which Team Liquid PH doesn't have the inhibitor turret for, by the way, so it should be naturally be pushing in favor of GeekFam. they have to be careful of that. They have to be careful of the fact that Vincent can do this, right? Split push, get in those side lanes. You don't do housekeeping. Be careful of side pushes coming through. And they also have to be very aware of Beloyski and his positioning. But wait a second.
Oh, middle lane here. They do find Gobs here. Winter Crown comes in trying to extend the fight, but he needs to flicker out as well. Frigid Frost has been used, but meanwhile, here PH Sanford, they catch Beloyski. They go for the Rosebell to try to isolate the fight, but Vincent, they find Sanji at the expense on his own life, but the rest of Geek Fam, they're getting so low. Look at this. Kautizi is doing so much work here to try and finish off the rest of the members here. Even Beloyski will fall. Kautizi, double kill for him with the Sky Piercer. Geek Fam loses 3 in exchange for only Sanji.
Oh no, and now Team Liquid with that space, with that build, with that momentum, they're going to be able to get this neutral objective uncontested. Geek Fam this time have really dropped their reins. This is going very ping-pong-esque, very tennis matchy.
Very back and
I'm
throw.
getting whiplash a bit.
It's very back and throw between both these teams here. It comes down to individual mistakes, and so far, Kautizi is the most consistent of it all. He's able to find opportunities in all this chaos. But talk me through this replay here.
Yeah, we're gonna start here. I think it was a really great move there for Sanford to pick on Beloyski first. Meanwhile, right, I told you, right, every time we see Team Liquid be able to really inactivate Beloyski, that's when things kind of go south for Geek Fam. There was a moment where I thought that maybe Chidera would be able to outplay in that later portion of the game at the top of that team fight that was going on, but unfortunately they didn't really go for it. They didn't want to do the commit over it. I guess they were afraid for an overstep, but I think he should have pressed the gas there, honestly.
Yeah, it is just a little bit unfortunate here, but now with this Lord coming in, I think this is like by now like the 4th Lord by this stage here. It is going to be very, very tanky. Geek Fam is going to try and lead up to tier 3. Sanford gets final slash up to the side, but he is going to go in for the Winter Crown. Daytona's welcome, and guess what? He survives the onslaught. They find Gobs, and just like that, Geek Fam, they have to go in for the reset. The Lord knocking over to the Crystal as well. TLPH still holding on with their assault to try and finish things off as well. Kautizi with the OK Shadow kill. He needs to get out to safety, but he cannot do so. He uses his Winter Crown, but he's not good enough. He doesn't have the shadows to get out to safety.
Whoa, what? That's a... What? Carl Teasy gets taken out there, and they didn't have any minions. So, Team Liquid, even if they wanted to go for it, they were unable to close. Once again, a successful defense by Geek Fam as we enter minute number 24. Ladies and gentlemen, get your snacks, get comfy in your seats, because we have got a game on our hands.
Props to our boy, man. Like, he was able to clear off the minions here, and they were able to force a mistake coming from Kautizi. Kautizi thought he was buying space and making time for his teammates to clear off the crystals, but guess what? Our boy and Vincent already cleared off all the minions. There was no minions to push into, and when he made that play, he just couldn't get out.
It looks like Carl Teasy also picked up a Thunderbelt here. Why Thunderbelt for both Carl Teasy and Benny Cutie?
I think it's more like they've gotten to a stage where this is getting a little bit too long. It's time to build out those infinite hybrid defenses.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, imagine 1,000 hybrid defense just because the game has drawn out to 30 to 40 minutes. It comes to a stage where who's tankier right now? It's no longer who does more damage, who's just able to outlast your opponent.
Okay, and then with that mindset, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams actually play the playing field again, right? Because technically, Vincent, again, if you're on a Ling, if you're on a Claude, if you're on something like the Fanny as well, you could definitely utilize that mobility advantage to try and look for more plays around the map. And because the Lord is spawning on the top side, there's definitely more room for Geek Fam to work with. So all they need to do is play that macro style.
Well, this is going to be by far one of the longer games here in SPS, but now look at the nightmarish spawn just immediately melts here. Beloyski in a little bit of trouble. They go in for a couple of stunts here, coming for our boy to try and stop him in the track. Beloyski trying to catch onto his JP, but with just a couple of shots from our boy, look at this. He's just doing so much damage here with this Aurora.
And other than that, right, Carl Teasy is also trying his best at this point, right, to push in these side lanes too. Wait a second, Minicutie is down bottom. He has to focus in on that lane that I was talking about, right? With the inhibitor down on the far lane, that does give Geek Fam an advantage, and this gives Geek Fam information that Benny QT is not going to be available in this next team fight, this should be the moment that they press the gas.
This is hard. This is hard. Look at how Kadera is just barely chipping the Lord right now. It's so difficult to actually hit the Lord right now, especially this late in the game. 26 minutes into the game. I don't know how tanky this Lord is. Even Kadera just barely tickling him, it's just going to be really hard here. Unless they come into this fight here. Voloisky getting the catch on Sanford. I don't think they are want to commit into this fight as well. But guess what? Vincent will settle with the first immortality and just back out. But they drop the dominance to Sen here to try and split out the fight. Sanford catching on towards Gobs there. But the Winter Crown saves his life. Voloisky also looking to re-engage towards the back lines, while the TLPH members is looking to just completely back out. Vincent now finally joining the fight. But the Frigid Frost from our boy will kill off Sanji. And now another one for Vincent as Kautizi will fall. He gets his revenge, and Geek Fam is able to find 3 in one fell swoop.
Oh no, it could be more here. Voloisky looking for that play. Benny QT as well is in that bush. Okay, he does get out alive though, but it looks like Voloisky is looking for a play onto JP as well. Look at the death timers. Every second counts. Every mistake is gonna hurt. And it feels like Team Liquid in that exchange. That was a very messy team fight.
Oh, we've got triple immortalities up on Geek Fam as well. And now Benny QT, he got dragged out of the park here. He needs to survive. He's got the immortality, but can he get out? No, he cannot. His dead is over. Geek Fam ID, they might have just done it. This 28 minutes ordeal has finally concluded. It is gonna be a 1-1, and Geek Fam bounces his back, drags this to game number 3.
I am just utterly speechless. It does seem like darkness is indeed encroaching onto Philippines, as Team Liquid now have unfortunately suffered a defeat despite a very strong showing by them. I gotta have to say, that final fight is really messy. However, I do want to put my praise onto this one player. This player has been pretty quiet thus far. He didn't quite show himself with a lot of presence per se, but Gobs, he turned around a catch by Sanford into an opportunity. That was big. The Detona's welcome coming in from Sanford lands onto Gobs, and immediately after being spat out, he went for Winter Crown. It allowed him to buy a lot of time, and everyone knows that, okay, I don't have to deal with Gobs because we don't have the opportunity to burst Gobs down anymore. He would then weaved in with a quick little vengeance and followed it up with a very nice final slash, which ultimately disrupted the lineup of Team Liquid Philippines, because Gobs was just in the hearts of the enemies, disrupting them and creating pandemonium.
I'm at the loss of words, but at the same time, yeah, you're right. You know, Geek Fam just played out of the minds. They played every sequence perfectly here. The immortality swaps, the Winter Crown swaps was on point. The decision makings has been spot on as well. And TLPH, they understand their drafts are really weak into the later stage game. And every single time Sanji drops Dominance Descent, you can see that everyone from Geek Fam is always focusing on just shutting down this Zaz before they commit all those fights. And because of that, they just came out on top. So it came down to who makes the mistakes.
This game could really have ended by 15 minutes, right before that pause where we saw Vincent making technically a groundbreaking play with something that he probably wouldn't have expected in hindsight. That one bruising thing onto Sanji, was it? Running right in, dealing damage on Sanji, forced him to recall. That have changed things all the way, because Team Liquid Philippines, they can't push with the Lord anymore. Bought Geek Fam so much time to run it down with that 50-50.
Yeah, I think there's a argument to be made from all the members of Geek Fam, right? You guys were able to highlight Gobs. I'm gonna highlight Vincent because of that play, right? I mean, from the very early start of the game, he was already being such a nuisance with the pressure that he was able to have. It was so difficult for Team Liquid to go in for the team fights as well. He was doing a lot for his team, and that's why when Vincent was in his previous team, when he was with Rebellion as their jungler, every time they would go against Rebellion, they would always ban the Fanny, and that really goes to show how important and impactful that this fanny pick is for Vincent.
Yeah, it kind of shows in the graph as well on how he's been doing, right? Like, even though he's been, not doing a lot in the early stage of game, like, even here, you can see early game, they were kind of leading by 2k advantage, and somehow TLPH was able to kind of match it up. But the moment they got that big lead for TLPH, that is where we start to see, like, especially during the 15-minute mark, every single time that happens, Vincent has been split pushing, and Kyle TZ, yes, we saw that highlight moment. He won his by once, but even if he did that, the rest of TLPH was just not united to actually push towards the base, and because of that, Geek Fam was able to just buy so much time into his later stage of the game to allow Kadera to do his own things, and guess what? He is the MVP for this match.
Kadera, 8:3:11 with a total of 702 GPM, and of course kill participation of 68%. I think that this final game from Geek Fam, every single one of these players really pulled their weight immensely, and Beloyski, with those Tyrants' Revenge catching out players one after another, we saw Beloyski making sure that Sanju